And even in Canada, Willie told me what happens when the club gets torn apart by raids and defections. It takes 7 years for them to come back. My name is Bob. I'm a retired member of the Outlaws Motorcycle Club in Canada, and I'm chatting with Stacks.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got retired one percenter, Bob from Biker News Camp.
I said, well, what do you want to do about it, man? I said, honestly, you want to go shoot one of my guys? Go shoot one of my guys. And then you know what's going to happen? We're going to come back and shoot you. And then they're going to shoot me. And it's just going to go back and forth. So
It'll never stop.
what difference does it make, bro? I hate that it happened to you in particular, but it happened. And you decide what you want to do with it. You're a grown man and you're a Hell's Angel. So figure it out. So 3-4 months later, Hammer quits our club. And he goes over there. They sit down at church. Hammer walks in the room. Brian goes, what's he doing here? They're like, well, he's our new prospect. He said, not after what he did to my face, he's not. And they said, we're not asking, we're telling. So then Brian ended up quitting their club, and I've never seen the guy since. I heard he's living out in a small community doing okay. I wish him nothing but the best.
So in the beginning, he was an outlaw. Then he goes to the Angels, and then now he's no more.
Just doing whatever, yeah. Which
What
is why
what ends up happening with the guy that did that to his face?
he's still an active HA to this day. He's world famous, man. He's opened support clubs. He's done so well in that club. So some of the guys that went to that club from this city did very well in it. I can think of 3 or 4 of them did very well in it. So it was the right move for them.
Now with all this beef that was going on back and forth, you know a lot of these guys. Did you, like, truly in your heart, did you hate these guys?
Well, that's the hard part, right? We went out one day and we all brought our little things and put them in our pocket and said, we're going to go get one tonight. And I followed the same guy who took the beating, poor guy, but he was active. He moved around. He wasn't a hider, right? So we got in behind him and we drove around through the city until he saw me in my car with a bunch of other Goombas, and he went and he fucked off, right? But I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't think I would have.
I mean, did you hate these guys?
Well, some of them I did. Some of them I did because we had prior beef. But like I say, some of them did very well from making that move, and they weren't going to do that well in our club. Our club in Canada anyway wasn't like that club in the way that we did things, right? We didn't structure our things where you had to be really, 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 really doing well to be a member. You just had to be able to hold your own and pay your dues and whatever. The other club seems to me like every one of them has to be doing really, really well to stay involved, right?
Yeah. You can't be no bum.
No, it ain't cheap being a biker, right? It's not cheap at
No.
all being a biker. Yeah, and that's kind of the story of how the Hells Angels came to Ontario, right? And they did it smart and they did it great. And it's me and Holmes and the whole chapter. Holmes is a smart guy, and he said, "Don't ever think those guys are stupid or weak or scared of us or any of that." He said, "Because none of that is going on down in their camp." He said, "They're just waiting until it's the right time for them, and then they'll be here."
They wanted to wipe you guys right off the map, right?
And that's not weird because one thing, our club's been around since the 30 some odds, and in the States, they're nothing to trifle with, right?
No.
And even in Canada, Willie told me what happens when the club gets torn apart by raids and defections. It takes 7 years for them to come back. And that's basically, he was right. So, we got torn apart and we all got arrested. And there's still outlaws in this city, albeit less. And they're tighter and they move a little quieter. They're still here.
Yeah.
They're still here. They're still doing their thing. It's not like they're the same as the other side. There's no fear, really. except for when you're standing there on the side of the road with your old lady and 10 of these dudes roll up on you, right?
Have you ever had that happen where you're in a spot where you're getting confronted and you
We,
don't have anything to help yourself?
well, see, me personally, I was known as the guy who always had something in his pocket. So they just stayed at least an arm's length or two away from me at all times. So I liked it that way because I'm not really a good fighter. I can't fight with a you know what I mean? So, like,
A couple questions I have for you is, up in Canada, it snows a lot.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so what kind of season is the bike season there?
So the bikes are just starting to come out now, but you wouldn't want to be on the highway on a motorcycle today, or where I am, and I'm in like kind of the warmest part of Ontario, just out of Detroit. So we get the same weather as they get. We probably get similar weather to what you get, right? I'd say the end, middle to the end of April. Our club had our on road date was mid April, and then off road date I think was mid October. So you had to be on the road bike running and everything in good standing between those months. And then there's a northern chapter, and they got to bring them out a month later and put them away a month earlier.
They get to ride snowmobiles, right?
Oh fuck, it's cold up there. And I love riding my bike up to the place.
Yeah.
But it was you knew it was going to be another 10 hours to get home. And I was like, oh, fuck, let's go. Let's just get this over with, man.
Let's
But
talk
yeah,
about your prospecting period. How was your prospecting period like?
the prospecting period for me was pretty smooth because, like I say, I was one of the last ones, and there's something that's been lost in the 1% thing, and it rushed to get membership is the hang around period. They made me, it wasn't optional, hang around for 5 years. They didn't know me from anywhere prior to me coming along and bumping into me at the strip joint. I didn't have an older brother who was a biker. I had never done time in jail for anything. And so they didn't know me. Nobody knew me. So I came to the clubhouse every Friday night, and then they put me with the probate, and I helped him go get the beer, fill the fridges, and then down the road, they'd have me behind the bar to give him a hand and help them when they're having a big party and a function, all the other chapters, and help. So then when I became a probate, it was all the I was already doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's a better way for these clubs to keep doing it that way. It was I was doing. I knew all the other members from every other chapter by name, and if I didn't, I asked them their name. And they tell you how to speak to a patched up brother properly, and etiquette, and gloves off, sunglasses down. How are you?
Yeah, look them in the eye.
Yeah, all that. Actually, I did a video about it the other day, but it's important in the biker world. So I had all the other guys respect. They were calling me brother. I was already doing kind of moves before I got full patch anyway, and I was working with other members, so that helped too.
Yeah. Did you have any situations where you're like, damn, maybe this isn't for me?
Yeah, just before Willie got shot, him and I were starting to clash a little bit. And I was like, fuck, man, maybe I don't want to do this. I can go do anything in the world. Maybe I don't want to do this, man. So I wasted 5, 6 years of my life. It ain't no big deal. And the shooting happened, and it was
Felt like you needed to do it, right? Once the shooting happened?
yeah. I felt like I needed to take Willie's spot and fill it. Not like I would ever take his spot or fill his shoes, but in my head, it felt like I had to try to, right? Like when I got in the club and I got my full patch, I was like trying to be the best guy in that club the best outlaw I could be sort of guy, right? I wasn't there to fuck around. I was there to make the club bigger and stronger and thrive and do what you're supposed to do as a member. A lot of guys just want to go fuck around, ride to the strip joints. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. Each to their own, but that wasn't what I was up to.
What was it like when you first met Willie? And
Well,
what was it like living with him?
that's a
So what's
pretty
it?
good. Those are good questions. Nobody's ever asked me that before because he was a big Balloon. And I used to buy and sell green products back then, to the dancers and to my friends around. And my wholesaler of the green products knew him. They grew up in the same hometown. And he goes, stay away from that guy. He's bad news. He's going to befriend you, rob you, and spit you out. That's what they all do. I'm like, come on, nah. But it was always in the back of my head that he told me that, and I seen that happen to lots of guys. I didn't have that personality, or he really liked. Obviously, he really liked me, right? Actually, he breached his parole, and then they handed me off to the next guy. They handed me off to Bandit, and then yeah, so it was pretty interesting the way it all went.
Oh, so he went to jail and they sent you with someone else?